to tell you, 2020, it's been a crazy year, you know, this COVID-19, it's all kind of, what's going on right now? What's happening? I hope they don't ask me for any money. I definitely didn't ask for this. Well, this is going to be for free. I didn't ask for this. This is happening. I don't believe this is happening. I don't have the money, dude.
Hey you guys, I'm Venus Monique from the hit crime drama Vindication, and you guys should definitely make sure you're catching the Maurice Brown Show on Roku TV.
Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to the Maurice Brown Show, and today I have a special guest, co-host today, my nephew, Caleb Lopez. What's up, Caleb? How are you?
Good. Hey guys. Today we're gonna be breaking down the NFL and talking about some teams and other stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Caleb was in the championship game on his Pee Wee Little League football team this year. They lost. What was the final score, Caleb?
19-0. We lost, but
hey, you're in the championship game.
Yeah,
you're in the championship game, and we're down in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He's a champ. And let's bring in our other natural co-host to the Maurice Brown Show, Sports Edition, Antoine, Real Stewart. What up, Stu?
What's going on, Mo? How you doing?
Man, I am doing great, dude. I am doing great. We have a lot to unpack from the NFL this past week. A lot of crazy scores went down. But we're going to start out with Green Bay, 24-22 over Cleveland. What did you think of this particular game?
It was a good game. It was one of those games where, you know, it came down to the end. Cleveland was fighting. They had a chance, but you guys show why you're the better team. You got the tough win, so hats off to the Packers.
Well, I'll say this, Stu. Here's the deal, dude. You know, you look at it, and it's like, okay, well, Baker Mayfield throws 4 picks, and I think one of them was a bogus call at the end. There was a PI, an obvious PI, and the refs didn't call it on that last pick. Do you remember that, Caleb?
Yeah.
Do you think that was a legitimate pass interference?
Yes.
Do you think that's what caused Cleveland to lose?
Probably. Yeah. Would've, yeah. Probably.
He's very kind, ladies and gentlemen. Stu, your opinion of what happened in the Cleveland-Green Bay game. There were actually 2 PIs in this game. The first pick that Baker threw and the last one. The 2 in between, legit his. Do you think that they got a bad deal on their the PI calls that cost them the game?
It's one of those things. You know, a lot of these calls, they can go either way. It just depends on who's looking at it. I think that as far as from a Packers standpoint, you guys made plays when you had to. You didn't play your best game, but you showed even not at our best, we still can pull off the win. And that's what it's going to take when you get to the playoffs. You're going to be facing some good teams there, and you have to show that, you know, things may not go our way, but we have enough will on offense and in defense to pull it off.
Hey, Caleb, could you stand up real quick just so everyone can see your shirt? This a little bit this way. It's okay, ladies and gentlemen. They don't call them this anymore. You can sit down, Caleb. Thank you. The Washington football team losing 56-14. Woo! Oh my God! What in the world happened there, Stu?
Oh man, I think they stayed in Washington is what happened. I don't know what team that was that showed up. I know they were going through injuries and different things like that, but pretty much everybody's dealing with that at this point in time. Heineke was coming back from COVID. I really didn't like the game plan. I didn't see that run first mentality. They had Heineke out there pitching the ball around the yard early, and he made some turnovers. He made some mistakes, and they kind of never got back in form. They never got the momentum back. And I wanted to see more run, hard nose, running the ball, pounding iron. And, they were kind of trying to pass the ball around. I know Gibson is not 100%, and I think that had something to do with it. But, next man up, you're going to have to establish the run against that team. They're the better team on paper, and they showed that they're the better team all around that day.
One thing I will say about Dallas, and I don't like saying this because I'm not a Cowboy fan. In fact, what I'm about to say is going to pain me to do so. But I have to be an honest football fan and call it as it is, regardless to my personal feelings. Correct, Caleb?
Yes.
So, here it is. On paper, the Dallas Cowboys are probably the best team in the NFL. I'm saying on paper. What scares me about Dallas is that they will realize who they really are. I'm very concerned about that. What's your opinion?
They're definitely one of the best on paper. They have what it takes, in the next level is can they execute? But the thing is, the NFC is no joke. They're going to be facing other teams that have what it takes. If they got to run into Tampa, they got to run into you guys. If they got to run into the 49ers or, anybody on that side, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Cardinals aren't playing well, but they can turn it back on if they get Hopkins back.
They could at any point. Yes.
All these teams are good. Look at the Rams on paper. All of these teams are good. Unlike the AFC, we have some very good teams on paper. It's a matter of them executing and being who they appear to be.
Now, Caleb, your opinion of the Dallas Cowboys?
I agree that they are a very good team, but they have not been showing their 100% on field. That's why I think a lot of other better teams on field can beat them. So, yeah, that's what I think of them.
Caleb, ladies and gentlemen, is a straight A student. I'm believing him. So let's keep moving. I love it, Caleb. Great commentary. The Dolphins 20-3 last night over the Saints. Dolphins have all of a sudden become kind of sneaky good.
Yeah, man. The Dolphins have showed that they've had a consistent defense. The offense was trying to get it together. It was a good game. I mean, the Saints are on their third string quarterback. It was going to come a time where that quarterback has to make plays. Dolphins has a good defense. The Dolphins pulled out the win. Simple as that.
I don't think that quarterback they had out there yesterday, I don't think he's used up his eligibility at Northwestern. Anyway, so let's just keep going, Stu. And then we had the Jets over the Jaguars yesterday, 26-21, meaningless. Colts 22-16 over the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to talk more about Arizona later on in the program, but the Cardinals are on a serious slide right now. We're going to get into them a little bit later, and the Colts are on the uptick. So definitely the Colts are coming on pretty strong. Eagles 34-10 over the Giants as they were supposed to be. The Giants are a high school team. Falcons 20-16 over the Lions yesterday. Totally meaningless. The Bills 33-21 over the Patriots. What did you think of that one?
I called it. I don't know if you remember from last week. I was saying the Bills can beat the Patriots. They got to stop the run, make that quarterback have to beat you. And look what happened. He threw picks. He didn't have a great game. The Bills went off. They had a great game. They executed properly, and they got the win.
Yeah, and think about Buffalo. You look at the Buffalo Bills, and it's like, okay, now they're starting to be that team that that they can be. They've had the yips here for the past few weeks, but now they're starting to be who they are, and they're a better team than the Patriots, and they showed it yesterday. The Rams over the Vikings, 30-23. This was a game that Minnesota had to have. And they were at home. They were playing well. The Rams came in, as my nephew accurately stated, the Rams, and you stated as well. I mean, there are a lot of teams in the NFC that are really good. particularly on paper. And I think Mike Zimmer's out of there, quite frankly and honestly. They got to go see my boys next Sunday at Lambeau. From what I understand, Santa's going to be there. It's going to be that cold. Like, he doesn't want to go back home yet. He kind of likes the Green Bay. Anyway, I don't, if the Vikings lose to Green Bay, dude, I think Mike Zimmer's done. But that being said, we'll see what happens. Bengals, big time over the Ravens. Feel bad for Tyler Huntley getting the COVID-19, not able to get the start. I honestly feel like had he been there, I would have put my money on the Ravens if I were a betting man. Nonetheless, here come Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Bears with Nick Foles, 25-24 over the Seahawks. Is Nick Foles just a naturally better backup than a starter?
Nick Foles, I mean, he has a Super Bowl win. He definitely shouldn't be a third stream. I think on anyone's team, he can be a second stream or a starter, depending on who your quarterbacking group is. Yeah, Nick Foles can play, man. He can play, and he's shown it. He's beaten Brady in the biggest game you can play in. So, he can play, and he did a good job filling in and executing well in a snow game too. Yeah. So hats off to him. And I think Russ is out of there, man. I think Russ is going to move on to bigger and better things moving forward.
I think he's out of there as well. And I look at Andy Dalton, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You're telling me that Andy Dalton is your number one? You mean tell me you traded for Andy Dalton to be your number one guy over Nick Foles and Justin Fields? Anyway, the Bears win, and I guarantee you their record would be better than what it is had they gone with Nick and had Justin back him up. But nonetheless, they get the win. Chicago Raiders 17-13 over Denver. A fairly meaningless game, although the Raiders are still technically alive. And then the Chiefs over the Steelers 36-10 yesterday. Are the Kansas City Chiefs back, Caleb?
Yes.
Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs are starting to look like that scary team they were last year. What do you think about that, Stu?
Oh, most definitely. I've said it for the past previous weeks. The Chiefs have shown that they can get it done. Their defense is playing well. And when the offense isn't, they're playing complementary football. And they're definitely going to be a scary team in the AFC. And I picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year.
So normally at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we would do our state of the Washington football team with our resident Redskin expert, Aaron Moore, former tight end at Bowie State. He's not available today, but I do have my net. Could you stand up one more time, Caleb, and let everyone see? He's a big-time Washington. Don't worry about what that says. He's a big-time Washington football team fan. You can sit down, Caleb. This is my nephew, Caleb. He's going to break down the state of the Washington football team. Now, I want to start out with, why do you think the Washington football team came out there and played so poorly against the Cowboys?
They weren't ready. Sure, they're dealing with COVID and injuries, but they could have done way better. They have their starting quarterback back, and they have their starting running back, so they could have done way better. So, they weren't prepared for the heat.
Whoa, we have a really strong comment by James Moore here, Caleb. He said, the Chiefs will walk to the Super Bowl. Whoa, what do you think of that?
I don't think so. They definitely have opposition. I don't think they're gonna walk to the Super Bowl. It's not gonna be that easy.
Yeah, James, I might pump my brakes a little bit on that one too. I'll say this, and actually before I add my extra, Stu, he says the football team needs a quarterback. What do you think of that?
They need a quarterback for the future. I think. Right now, with Heineke and Allen, they're pretty much squared away. They need to draft a quarterback, or if they're lucky enough to get a Russell Wilson or a Deshaun Watson or that caliber guy, of course you go for that guy. If they can't get that guy, you're going to have to draft someone and groom them up, and let Heineke and Allen do what they need to do to groom up a guy that can take over that spot. But it's been a rough couple of weeks for the football team with COVID striking them. playing on a short week and guys are all out of sorts. Who knows what type of condition Heineke was in? I was hearing them say, he was having trouble breathing before the game and stuff like that, as far as running, trying to catch his breath. So, those guys are out there on the wing and the prayer, but it's the National Football League. The show doesn't stop, so you got to keep going. So it's a sad thing for them that they got, the COVID bug and everything happening. But, I think Heineke will be okay for now until they find their guy for moving on forward to the future.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting how the breathing started to really increase and, become more difficult when they said he was starting today. Anyway, let me just say this, Stu, just moving forward about the Chiefs in response to James Moore's comment about the quarterback situation. Not quarterback situation, but the deal with the Chiefs walking to the Super Bowl. Let me just say this, dude. Okay, yeah, they beat the Steelers 36-10. I have one question. Who are the Steelers? And then, of course, they beat us earlier, the Green Bay Packers, with Jordan Love. And do I need to say anything more about that? We'll leave it alone. And so they beat the Giants. They beat they beat the Chargers. The Chargers yesterday lost to the Houston Texans, dude.
Yeah, they did.
So I'm looking at the Chiefs stacking up the Raiders. They beat the Raiders. The Raiders are in disarray. I mean, forget about the high school team they beat yesterday. Let me just say this to you. The Chiefs look really good. This is just my personal opinion. They look really good. I'm not so sure right now. Help me out on this one, Caleb. We're just talking football 101. I don't know anything. I was watching a game with a bag of Doritos and queso cheese. I mean, what do I know? But let me just say this. I don't know that they can beat Buffalo. I don't know that they can beat New England. I don't know that they can beat Cincinnati. They got Cincinnati. I can't wait to see what they do with the Bengals on Sunday, right? Talking about AFC supremacy right now. And I don't know if they can beat a rejuvenated Tennessee Titan ball club because now Ryan Tannehill has A.J. Brown and Julio Jones back. And so now, and they're expecting Derrick Henry to return from what I understand. I don't know what the likelihood of that is. I'm not so sure the Chiefs can weave their way through those teams. What do you think, Gillip?
Exactly. I feel like they could probably beat the Bills, but the other teams, that's going to be real hard for them.
It's going to be difficult. Stu, what's your opinion? What do you think about all of that, Stu?
I got the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, man. It's definitely not going to be an easy walk. Okay. It's the playoffs. The Colts, a lot of good teams in the AFC. Cincinnati, you got the Bills, you got the Titans. All those teams are going to give them a good shot. I just think that as of right now, the Chiefs have been the most consistent in the AFC. They only have 4 losses. The only person close to that is Titans with 5 losses, and then it goes downhill after that. But they have the guy with the caliber that can do it. He got a Super Bowl win. That defense is playing. That's the most impressive thing to me. We all know that eventually they were going to get the offense going. We knew that.
Yeah, we knew
that. With a creative genius like Andy Reid, with a weapon like Pat Mahomes, we know they were going to get going. The thing that impresses me the most is how their defense is playing. Their defense is keeping them in games. And then once the offense gets clicking, if the defense can match that, they're going to be tough for anybody to beat, not including the NFC. So I believe the Chiefs will hold it down. New England, they're not ready yet. I think they've pretty much been exposed. If you stop the run, they're going to have a tough time beating anyone. Their defense is going to keep them in games because Bill Belichick is a defensive genius. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I don't see anyone in the AFC stopping them. But it's the playoffs. This is not the NBA. You only got to do it one time. If it was the best out of 7, who knows what will happen. But, the Colts or any one of those teams can go in there and do it.
Forgot about the Colts, too.
Most definitely. Definitely if they get that running game going and control and keep Pat Mahomes on the bench. But as of the favorite, in my opinion, I think that with the way the defense is playing for the Chiefs, I think that they are the favorite to go to the Super Bowl. But it's not going to be an easy walk.
I'm going to throw out one more thing, and we're going to move to the next topic.
Okay.
The Indianapolis Colts with Jonathan Taylor will gut that Kansas City defense. Gut them. Not only will he do that, I look at the Patriot running game, which is actually pretty stout. We already know that if Derrick Henry returns, hey, but anyway, I'm being a little harsh on the Chiefs, but I'm still a little bit pessimistic. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Caleb Lopez, my nephew, for breaking down the state of the Washington football team. Excellent job, sir.
You're welcome. It was nice. I liked it.
Now we're going to go to Mr. Stewart's favorite part of the day. We are going to break down the top teams in the AFC. We're going to look at Stu's AFC top 5. Stu, who you got?
All right. Caleb, can I get a drum roll? All right. Top 5 AFC. Number 1, I got the Chiefs. Big dogs on campus sitting at 11-4.
Chiefs
number
one.
2, I got the Colts, man. They've really impressed me.
Oh, wow. That's a big jump for the Colts.
Yeah. The Colts sitting at 9-6. Yeah. Number 3, I got Cincinnati at 9-6.
Okay.
Number 4, I have Buffalo at 9-6. And number 5, I got the Titans at 10-5. I'm still not convinced. Jimmy, we gave the game away, but we'll touch on that later. But that's my top 5.
Okay, that's your top 5. And Baltimore, they're gone. They're no longer in your top 5.
No.
And let's see. Did you mention, you had the Patriots at 3?
Patriots are not in there. You got the Chiefs at number 1. You got the Colts at number 2. You got the Bengals at number 3. You got the Bills at number 4. And the Titans at number 5. All of these teams are division winners right now, and they lead their divisions.
Whoa, interesting that you traded out the Patriots for the Colts. But you know what? I can't be mad at you for that pick. That's a good one. I mean, the Colts right now are jamming. They're jamming. And all you have to do is take Jonathan Taylor and smash that defense with the running game. And it'll set up a quality quarterback like Carson Wentz to do whatever he needs to do to complete, the ball game. So, no, I like your top 5 for the AFC. That's a good top 5. Let's switch over now to the NFC, Stu, and get your top 5 there.
All right, NFC top 5. We got the reigning champions at number 1, the Green Bay Packers sitting at a 12-3.
Yes, sir.
I got the Bucks in number 2 just because of Brady. They're sitting at 11-4.
Okay.
I got the Cowboys. I got to give them their props. They've been doing their thing.
Yeah.
At number 3 spot at 11-4. I got the Los Angeles Rams number 4 spot at 11-4, and we got the Arizona Cardinals at the 5th spot at 10-5. They're not doing too well right now.
And I think, Caleb, you alluded to the fact earlier that because of their hot start and their current 10-5, we have to have them in the top 5.
Yep, exactly.
So, Stu, that's a heck of a top 5 you got there. Green Bay, can't argue with you on that one. Green Bay, followed by Tampa Bay, no question. Followed by Dallas, unfortunately, no question. I mean, like I said, if Dallas really my biggest fear is that the Cowboys will realize how good they really are. That scares the heck out of me. Because the Cowboys, they're just nasty, dude. But they're also imbeciles. They know how to give games away. I love that part about Dallas. I love it. It's like, oh, thank you. I didn't know. Anyway, so we'll see. But anyway, number 3, and then at number 4, you had the Rams. And here come the Rams. Here come the L.A. Rams. They're starting to be who, on paper, they are supposed to be. And the Cardinals should be number 5 because of their great start and their current 10-5 record. They can wake up at any time. We know what they're capable of.
Yeah, most definitely. The biggest thing they're missing right now is their star wide receiver. If they can get Hopkins back, they're a totally different team. That's their favorite target. And when he's not playing, he feels a little out of sorts. So, Kyler Murray, that is. So, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. And then we go to our NFL top 10. What you got, Stu?
All right. Big dogs on campus. Number 1, the Packers at 12-3. Number 2, I got the Bucks at 11-4.
Okay.
Number 3, I got the Chiefs at 11-4. Number 4, I got the Cowboys at 11-4.
Okay.
Number 5, I got the Rams at 11-4.
Okay.
Number 6, I got the Colts at 9-6.
Okay.
Number 7, I got Arizona at 10-5.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Number 8, I got the Bengals at 9-6.
Okay.
Number 9, we got the Bills at 9-6. And number 10, we got the Titans at 10-5.
Now, in the AFC top 5, you had the Bills over the Bengals, didn't you?
No, the Bills were the 4th pick. The Bengals were the 3rd pick.
So we giving a lot of love to the Bengals today.
Oh yeah, the Bengals, man, a scary team. Another one of those teams like with a quarterback and with a defense, with a running game with Mixon.
Yeah.
Once they get going, I think that they're definitely. Burrows is playing good. That's going to be a good team in the playoffs, and I'm curious to see what they do against the Chiefs this week.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. And here's what causes me to pause on the Chiefs a little bit with this upcoming game with the Bengals.
Right.
The Bengals are 9-6.
Yep.
Okay. The Bengals can give a game away too.
Yeah.
There's an element of uncertainty with the Bengals, right? And so I don't know. I mean, I like their record. I like what Joe Burrows brings to the table and so forth. But I'm still looking at them as a team that has an Achilles heel. And it's like I don't know. But we'll see. I think it'll be a good test for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, as we talk about all of that, excellent top 5 for the AFC, NFC, and top 10 for the NFL. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals, because one of the things I wanted to discuss today, and we'll get to the 49ers in just a moment. I know you can't wait to talk about your boys. But let me just say this about the Cardinals. And I asked my nephew earlier if he thought the Arizona Cardinals are a fluke. What is your opinion about that, Caleb, for the audience?
Yes. Yes. Right now, that's what they're showing.
They are showing that. Stu, what's your opinion of that?
They're only a fluke is if you thought they were the best team in the league. They have a dependency upon Hopkins. When Murray's number 1 guy is not there, they're a totally different team. I think Hopkins is the MVP of that team.
Did he play this past Sunday, DeAndre?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't believe so. So, they're reeling for I don't even know if they won a game since he's been out. So
I don't think they have.
Yeah, so that's definitely something to look forward to. They haven't adopted that next man up attitude and still getting it done, even though their best player is out. And great teams find a way to get it done without their star receivers. So that's definitely, if the people had them at number 1 or competing with Green Bay, they're definitely a fluke in that opinion. I never really had them like that. Being a 49er fan and they're in my division, I pretty much know, they'll start hot and stuff like that. And then they start to fade in December when the good teams start doing well in December. So that's not good for them with the momentum going into the playoffs. And they're going to have to try to figure a way to rejuvenate that team, rejuvenate the culture and everything, and get people firing on all cylinders.
Well, the thing about Arizona as well, and as we mentioned, DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, he wasn't there this past week. He wasn't there when they played the Lions. They were destroyed, by the way, by the Detroit Lions. I think Kyler Murray is too dependent on DeAndre Hopkins because, you have to beat the Lions without DeAndre Hopkins. Okay. Yeah. You should be able to replace DeAndre Hopkins with Captain Kangaroo and still beat the Lions.
Exactly.
You remember Captain Kangaroo? What's your favorite kid show?
I don't know.
Well, you're
SpongeBob.
A big guy now, huh? What's that?
Probably SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. You could replace DeAndre Hopkins with SpongeBob and beat the Lions. Daggone it. So anyway, I think Kyler Murray is a whiner, and he makes excuses, and he calls his receivers out when they don't make plays. Like, you're the young kid on the block. You don't start chewing out a veteran like he did A.J. Green in the Lion game. You're chewing out A.J. Green? And so I remember when he threw the pick, he's playing Green Bay. They're going down for the winning score. He throws a pick to Rasul Douglas, who's had a great run, by the way. I think the young man has about 5 interceptions up to this point. Rasul Douglas for the Packers.
Right.
Picked him at the very end of the game. He was on the ground crying like a little baby. Get up! Anyway, so I don't know, dude. I'm just looking at the Cardinals right now, and I'm starting to look at them as kind of flukish because you can't put everything on DeAndre Hopkins. You can't. Thank you, Nazarene X. You can't put everything on DeAndre Hopkins. There are some things you've got to do. Like, I'll use Aaron Rodgers, for example. I'm a big Green Bay Packer fan, so this may sound biased. But Aaron Rodgers has been missing people all year. He's missed Devontae Adams with COVID-19. He's still missing his arguably the best left tackle in Bakhtiari in the NFL. We're missing what's the guy's name on defense? Jair Alexander. The Green Bay Packers have had guys out all year, including Aaron Rodgers. We're 12-3. You can't make excuses. You got to take who you have, and you got to go out and win the game.
Next man up.
It's next man up. So I hear what you're saying about, DeAndre being out because he's a beast. Matter of fact, you could say he's the best receiver in the NFL. Him, Devontae Adams, take your pick. Great receiver. But there's some games that you need to be able to win without your big dog.
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking at the Cardinals, and I'm like, I don't know. And that is leading me up to what we got coming up this week. I got the Cardinals and the Cowboys as the game of the week coming up this Sunday. Talk to me a little bit about that one.
That's going to be a really good game. And piggyback off of what you were saying, we got to start looking at coaching.
Yeah.
When is their head coach going to receive some backlash? Because you guys are way too talented on the offense and defensive side of the ball. I know he's big on this air raid offense and stuff like that, but you can't do an air raid with your number one guy out. You got to figure out a way, either have those dogs in the locker room who can be a next man up mentality, or kind of change it up a little bit, run the ball a little more, get more creative, be innovative, and find out ways for your playmakers to get open down the field. So, coaching has to play a big part in that as well, setting your team up for success. As far as the Cowboys in Arizona, that's going to be a great matchup, a great game. Yeah. I think that this is Dallas's chance to show everybody that we are who they thought they were. They are the big dogs that everyone wants them to be as far as their fan base. They're facing against a team, Arizona, that's not playing their best football right now, and this is the time to hit them in the mouth because you might see them in the playoffs. This is the time to install fear in them, to let them know we're the big dogs. So, this is a big chance for Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott and company, Amari Cooper, Kupp, those receivers on the outside, and that defense to get after Calamari, number 11 and company, Gregory and those boys, get after that quarterback. And it's time to show everybody why we're the best in the league.
Do you know the status of DeAndre Hopkins health-wise? When will he be available again?
If I had to guess, I think they're trying to hold out to the playoffs. Okay. Just, rest up. We're guaranteed the playoffs. No point of, getting him injured, so that way he'll be a go in the playoffs, and it might be a different team. He might not be 100% still, but that's something we have to see. But, I think that I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys to win this game and show why they're the better team. They're playing better football right now. Mm-hmm. And if Dallas goes out there and lays an egg, it's going to be a lot of doubt in some people's minds. Like, you couldn't even beat them, when they didn't have their best player. So, this is a big game for Dallas, man. They have to come out and show what they're meant to do, and they can take that momentum going into the playoffs and maybe even rest your starters the last week. Who knows? But they definitely need to get it done this week coming.
Well, one thing I can tell you is the IHOP breakfast menu loves Dallas because they're great egg layers. But dude, I'm gonna tell you right.
Scrambled eggs with cheese.
I'm gonna tell you right. Well, look, I'll say this about Arizona in this game. If Arizona has been listening to the noise about them being flukes, because a lot of people are saying that they're flukes out there.
Yeah.
If they've got any constitution or any heart, they will go out and show the world that they're no fluke against Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the time for the Arizona Cardinals to show. Because right now, Dallas has a hard number 2 seed going into playoffs if they start it today. Green Bay would be number 1 home field throughout if it started today. And Dallas is a hard 2. So now Dallas needs to go, all right, look, if we go out here and win the next 2 games and Green Bay happens to slip against Minnesota or even the Lions, anything's possible in the NFL, then I think they would get the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they would have home field throughout. So Dallas has a lot to play for. There's no time to provide any more for the IHOP breakfast menu. No more eggs.
Okay. No more eggs.
Okay, enough of that. So that's the game of the week. And the other game of the week, I have the Chiefs and the Bengals. Because now, I mentioned to you before, let's see, who's this? Needs to step up. Oh, James Moore says, bingo, Cliff Kingsbury needs to step up. Look, dude, anytime you call your offense the air raid, man, you got to step up.
Yeah.
You can't
Next
be air raid and start saying we need DeAndre Hopkins. You're air raid. Hey, Cliff, draw up a great play. So, and then the playoffs, coming up, James Moore, you got it, dude. Here we go. But I think the Bengals and the Chiefs, definitely game of the week. Now, let's switch over to your team and talk about, what's going on with the San Francisco 49ers. Because all of a sudden now, they are a team that barely has a heartbeat remaining to make it into the playoffs right now. They still have a shot, but they're giving away some games right now. Is Trey Lance just what the doctor ordered for the 49ers?
Most definitely. And, I'm very secure with where we are right now as far as the playoff push. We're the number 6 seed. There are 7 seeds making the playoffs this year. So we played, I believe, Houston this week. Okay. So, I think we'll handle business there. And if we beat Houston, I think we're pretty much locked in at the 6th seed. Yeah. So we're there, man. Trey is definitely what the doctor ordered. As 49er fans, and James a 49er fan, me and him go back and forth all the time about this. He was a Jimmy G guy, but I think he's definitely sees what the doctor's ordered, and he's now jumped on the Trey Lance bandwagon. So I like Jimmy. Jimmy's a decent quarterback, but, Shanahan and John Lynch saw something that made them give up 3 number 1 picks to go get Trey Lance. So, we can't act like it's all peaches and cream. It's not all good in the hood as far as in 49ers. They saw something, an issue that they needed to fix. And that's what we did. They've been grooming the kid, getting him ready for this time. Of course, he's going to make his mistakes. He's a rookie. He hasn't had a lot of playing time. But with our offense and with our running game and our defense and a guy like Kyle Shanahan calling the plays, I think we can do enough to get the job done until he gets comfortable.
Yeah, I like that, Stu. What's good in the hood? And I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. Talking about peaches and cream, the way they've been playing lately is almost like they've been listening to Peaches and Herb. You remember Peaches and Herb?
No.
Yeah, man, that was a great love song duo, man. Man, the man and his wife, that was a great duo. They sing love songs all the time, man. I was like, is that what you was listening to before the game? Anyway, so Okay, all right, Stu. So anyway, dude, Stu. Okay, you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm just going to say this right now. The 49ers have a shot. You've been preaching Trey Lance all year. And I have been a Jimmy G guy only because he's a veteran. He's taking you to the Super Bowl, and he's shown that he can get the job done. Let's let Trey marinate a minute and then maybe bring him out year 2, year 3, and let him go. But the way Jimmy Garoppolo has played this year has been pretty poor. I'm just going to be 100 with you. It surprises me, and he's hurt again. He's always getting injured.
Yeah.
You remember 2 years ago he got knocked out for the season because he thought he could run over a middle linebacker. So I'm with you. Were right, Stu. You called it. You've been saying it all year. You were right. It is time for Trey Lance. It is time for Trey Lance. And
Most
I
definitely.
think that the 49ers can make the playoffs with him.
Oh, yeah.
Let me hold on. I'm getting a little too excited. Let me say this. I think they have a shot with Trey. We have to remember he's a rookie.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, the 49ers are pretty much all solidified as far as making the playoffs. We would have to lose. Yeah, we would have to. We're not in officially yet, but we would have to lose both of these games, and some crazy things will have to be happen because we have a lot of the tiebreakers, like over Philly, the Vikings, and we needed the Saints to lose to Miami, which they did, which kind of knocked them back a little bit. So if it ever came down to a tie situation over, the Vikings or Philly, we're going to win the tiebreaker over those guys because we beat them this year. Yeah. So we're pretty much in there. We just got to, at least win one of these 2 games against the Texans, which we're not sleeping on. We know that, this is
the Chargers.
Exactly. This is a week-by-week league, but we're not a pity-pat team. We're going to come in there physical. We're going to run the ball. We're going to smack the Texans around and show them that we're the better team. We should have definitely won last week. Jimmy got injured and he played poorly. And that's the 2 biggest knocks on Jimmy is, one, the injury bug that he's been plagued with his entire career with the 49ers, what's 5th season here. And number 2, the inconsistency in playing. He'll have a game or a string of games, 3 or 4 games where Jimmy looks great. You're like, wow, Jimmy G, man, I don't know what people were saying about him. Why they talking so much trash? Mm-hmm. And then the real Jimmy will show up. Like Eminem said, will the real Slim Shady please show up? Jimmy shows up, and then you see what we were talking about, inconsistent. And the thing that bugs me the most about Jimmy is if you see him at the post show after the game, after a loss, after him playing horrible, he'll be on there cheesing and smiling. And I'm like, what are you smiling about? Yeah. And then he'll we got to get on the same page and stuff. He never takes a full accountability as the leader of the team and say, you know what? I got to play better. I missed those throws. I need to do. It's always we, the players, and we got to get on the same page and we got to play together. No, Jimmy, you have to take responsibility. You get all the praise when we win. Oh, it's Jimmy and the run game, and Jimmy did what he's supposed to do. So let you take some of the fault when you lose. You got to be that. You got to be consistent on both fronts. And I think that's another thing that Shanahan doesn't like, because Jimmy blew the game. I mean, if you watch the game or you go back and watch the highlights, I mean, guys, you could have sit there and do your taxes as wide open as those guys were. They were just so wide open, and Jimmy was throwing it over their heads, and he threw 2 bad picks, one of which was in the end zone. You can't throw a pick in the end zone when we can score. It's just he just had a bad game, and he got injured again. Those are the things the reasons we got Trey Lance, and I think that Trey Lance is marinated a little bit. Jimmy can't elevate the offense yet, and I'm glad to hear James Moore say that, because me and him went back and forth so much over this Jimmy and Trey thing. But Jimmy's limited. It is what it is. He's a limited guy. He's a decent quarterback. I think he'll be a good backup in this league, or he can be a decent starter quarterback for someone that's on the rebuild and stuff like that, can kind of carry the franchise over till they find their guy. But he's just inconsistent, man. It is what it is when it comes to Jimmy.
You guys are watching the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition. I've got my nephew, Caleb Lopez, here, of course, Antoine Real Stewart on the Maurice Brown Show. And if you are enjoying this show, like it and share it. Caleb, have you ever heard of Eminem?
Yeah.
Eminem is a...
Rapper.
You like him?
Yeah, I've heard a few of his songs.
Do you know any lines from any of his reps?
I know a few of his songs.
Yeah? Do you know any lines?
No.
Okay. That's probably a good thing. Your dad's watching right now. He's probably very proud of you. Let me just say this. You know, you mentioned Slim Shady, Eminem, and so forth. Maybe he should give Jimmy G a phone call and get him some swag. Anyway, so look, Stu, let's look at Sunday's upcoming games. Here we go. Got some big ones coming up. It's the Eagles versus the Washington football team. Caleb, who do you like in this game, Eagles or the football team?
I'm thinking the Eagles, but the Washington football team, I feel like they're going to be going after this win because they just lost by almost 40 points.
Yeah.
And so
At least.
Yeah, they really want to win right now. So, but
Hold on, everybody. This just in. Dallas just scored again. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Eagles are gonna win that game.
Eagles on that. You know, Eagles could be dangerous in the playoffs. I think they are almost a lock if they win this game to get into the playoffs. Would that be correct, Stu?
I think they still need a couple of things to happen. You know, they're the 7th seed right now. You know, the 49ers are the 6th seed. So they're currently in the playoffs right now. If the season ended today, they got 2 more games to go. They definitely need this win. It's a division game, and I think this will more solidify their spot. They got teams right on their heels. So I think they should be. If they win this game, they pretty much should be a lock.
We got the Rams versus the Ravens. Are the Ravens done?
Yeah, Ravens are done. It's unfortunate, you know, Lamar with the COVID thing and injuries and everything. And then their second quarterback, he's having COVID. And I think they're getting too far behind. You know, the Rams are no pity pat team. They're a real team. I think the Rams are going to take care of business and get that win. And I think that will push the Ravens, eliminate them and out of playoffs contention.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's look at the Buccaneers and the Jets. Now, this is a meaningless game. We know that. But for Tampa Bay, they are trying to get that number 1 seed as well. And they're just waiting for Green Bay to slip. And Green Bay's got to take care of business against the Vikings. The Vikings, they kind of have our number. Doesn't matter if we play them at Lambeau or at their place. They just kind of give us a hard time. So Tampa Bay has a lot to play for. They want to make sure they smash the Jets. You could probably already go ahead and I'll write it down for them. 100-0. All right. So and then we've got the Jaguars and the Patriots. Meaningless game here. The Patriots just want to keep winning and try to get as good of a playoff position as they can. Raiders versus the Colts. I think this is probably an easy one here for the Colts. The Raiders are just not a team. And the Raiders have something to play for. I mean, they are still in the playoff hunt, believe it or not. Dolphins versus the Titans. This is a very intriguing game. Giants versus the Bears. Meaningless. Texans versus the 49ers. You guys need to take care of business against the Texans because they destroyed. I don't know how they did it. I have no idea how they did it. They destroyed the San Diego Chargers with a quarterback who has the name of a men's warehouse, a men's clothing warehouse.
And I know how they did it. I watched the highlights of that game. Turnovers was a big thing that played a part in that. Texans got a lot of key turnovers, and they turned that into points.
Guys, we have breaking news. John Madden has just passed away.
Oh, wow.
At the age of 85. Rest in peace, John Madden. That kind of bothers me because I like John a lot.
Rest in peace. And that's my cousin Slick, man. Shout out to Slick.
Shout out to John Madden, man. He's like the dude. He's the dude when it comes to the NFL. Everybody knows that. He's got that popular Madden game. You know, everybody loves it. Everybody loves him as an analyst. He was a Super Bowl winning football coach. All around great guy. Sorry to hear the news. John Madden, once again, passing away at the age of 85. Nazarene X, thank you for passing that along. And we are going to continue on with the games coming up over the weekend. We got the Broncos and the Chargers. Now, let me just say this about the Chargers. Dude, they have like about this much of a chance to get into the playoffs. What's up with the Chargers, Stu?
Inconsistent. Last week it was a lot of turnovers. I believe he had one or two picks and he had some fumbles and things like that. So they had turnovers and they were playing against a team that had nothing to lose, and this is a week-to-week league. Any of these teams could pop on and be that, destruction for you moving forward. So, it's a lot of those games, those trick games that we should beat them. But if we don't bring our best effort, we could lose also. Yeah, definitely with these teams that they don't really have a lot to play for, but people want jobs next year. They like, I'm going to show my coach to keep me on the team. Don't trade me. You need me. So people are playing for their positions as far as their careers are concerned. So, the Chargers showed that's why they're not in the top 5. You got to win these games. The teams you're supposed to beat, you got to take care of business. And that's why they've dropped out of the top 5.
100%. Falcons versus the Bills. Fully expect Buffalo to go out there and take care of business. They have a history this season of slipping up, much like the Cowboys do from time to time. But Buffalo should win this game. The Panthers and the Saints, totally meaningless matchup. Lions versus the Seahawks, also meaningless. Who would have figured that the Seattle Seahawks would be playing in a meaningless game, but in fact they are. Green Bay, as we alluded to already, has the Vikings in a big game. They need to win this game. Aaron Rodgers' foot was stepped on in the Cleveland game twice, kicked once by Myles Garrett and stepped on by his own offensive lineman, and he limped his way through that game. So it's kind of a touch-and-go situation with him. The Packers need to, if they can beat the Vikings on Sunday, I don't know if that would be no, it wouldn't clinch anything. They need to win the next 2 because Dallas and Tampa are on their heels. So the Green Bay needs to get Aaron to the bye with a first-round bye, of course, with home field throughout. Big game. And then Cleveland playing the Steelers. And, I think are the Browns out or do they still have a shot?
I got to double check. James or Nazarene X, can one of you guys check and see the top 7 seeds in the playoffs in the AFC? I think they might have a shot. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. They have an outside shot. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Maurice Brown Show with Antoine Real Stewart, and I'm also joined today by my nephew, Caleb Lopez, as we've been breaking down the games coming up this Sunday and the games that went down this past Sunday. Holiday season. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all you folks, good folks out there. If you have a chance to go out to the movies and see a good film, I have a good friend that's in a film right now called American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story, and that is in theaters all across America. And I have a good friend by the name of Brett Varvel, who's in this film, who's playing the role of Steve Mariucci. Dennis Quaid plays Dick Vermeil, and Zachary Levi is blessed and honored to play Kurt Warner. And that is happening all across America right now. So please, if you get an opportunity, go out and enjoy some family time and watch a great Christian film, as he is a born-again Christian. Kurt Warner talking about his life in the NFL. Also, again, I mentioned this earlier, and I'll say it again. If you've enjoyed this conversation that we've been having, talking sports, talking about the Washington football team, and other funny things in the NFL. There are a lot of funny things. There's a lot of Bamas in the NFL, as you well know, Stu.
Yes, sir.
But, hey, like it and share it and subscribe to the Maurice Brown Comedy Channel and any social media engine that Antoine Real Stewart is a part of. Now, if you're coming in and you're like, oh, man, I missed the show, Not really, because tomorrow about 12 noon, you can see the whole darn thing on the Creative Motion Network on Roku TV, the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition. And again, as I mentioned, I've got my nephew, Caleb Lopez, hanging out. Caleb, we're down in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Caleb was in the Pee Wee Championship game this year. His team did not win it, but tell everybody about the position that you play and your team's record and how the game.
Center and outside linebacker. It was nice, and we had a record of, I think it was 6-4.
Okay.
And yeah, we lost 19-0 championship game. But I mean, like, at least we made it to championship. So
That's right.
yeah, good season.
Yeah.
Had fun.
Awesome stuff. A great year, no question about that. My nephew Caleb joining me on the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition. Stu, we got some big games coming up. Are you going to be able to see the 49ers play this year before the season ends?
Probably not. I'm looking forward, depending on the playoffs and who they play, if they play anyone close. The Browns still have a shot from what I see. Jags, Jets, and Texans have been eliminated already. Okay, cool. Yeah, the Browns are still in it. But thanks, Slick. So if depending on who we play in the playoffs and who we match up with, I might try to get out to a game, a playoff game. But we'll see, man. It just depends on who we play.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens. Stu, thanks a lot for being on the show, man, and take it easy. We will be back here ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try to be back here next Monday at 5 p.m. You understand it's the holidays. Things happen. One thing happens here. That thing happens over there. Hey, we got a new year coming. So we may or may not be back at 5 p.m. next Monday, but we'll be back next week, and we'll let you know exactly what time, if that time does change. So until then, everybody have a safe week. Have a blessed week. And Stu, may the peace of Jesus Christ be with you and your family, brother. God bless you.
God bless you too, Mo. Thank you.